we're in an era of change. So as you saw the evolution of fluorescent bulbs transitioning from incandescent, LED, though, will move into a total solid-state solution. Right now, the implementation of LED is limited to about 10%, but you've got a compounded annual growth rate of over 20% in the industry in revenue in a declining per part product basis. So the growth per units is much faster. So we're looking at an industry that will double literally in the next 3 to 4 years.
There's a couple things that drive LED revolutions, and there's different drivers for different types of applications. Initially, it's of course the efficiency, which translates into a cost of ownership advantage for the end user. While the LED technology continues to improve, there's other values that help create an acceleration of adoption. Form factor is an additional one. You can make really cool types of fixtures that create lit effects that weren't possible before. The continued increase in efficiency will allow additional applications.
The key drivers probably fall into a couple of elements. One of the first ones I think certainly started with energy. But I think today we're reaching a point where color and controllability are becoming equally as important in making the spaces work where we use LEDs.
Definitely from an energy standpoint, it has unbelievable energy saving potential and maintenance, cost effectiveness that we couldn't do with traditional sources. From a design standpoint, it allows product designers to design products that could never been designed before, delivering that quantity and quality of light.
But really, I think it's going to be about how nice the lighting is. Is it offensive, or is it actually complementary to what you're trying to have in terms of an environment? Do I want nice lighting in my room, in my kitchen, or do I want something that is just low cost? And I think it's going to be a mixture of those as well.
And what LED has done is really start a dialogue about lighting, lighting quality, and the value that light brings to our visual environment. Because we're so linked to light, we take it for granted many times. Only once or twice in a generation does a new light source come in.
I think all sectors are going to benefit from LED technology. I really see fluorescent metal halide in any of the current sources as going by the wayside very rapidly.
One of the things that we see happening now with an accelerated adoption is, for example, in retail. So where there's higher lumen packages now to do higher ceilings, quality of light that enables to replace either the halogens or the compact metal halides in those space. With an end user base that's experimenting.
I would think that the next evolution is going to be taking over the general lighting within commercial buildings. We certainly have seen some adoption residentially that is at a higher level than maybe we anticipated, even at the expense of some of the lamps, the replacement lamps. But I think commercially, general lighting is reaching a point where there's enough people that are comfortable with it that they want it to be their core light.
Definitely the indoor general illumination market, and specifically the workspaces, like the office lighting market, is going to definitely grow very, very fast over the next few months.
Different regions of the world are going to adapt it at different rates. I see Europe coming along strong with the higher energy costs. I see the United States coming along in some of their energy efficiency goals. I even see countries like Brazil and other areas come along really nicely and are really embracing the technology.
Europe's always been kind of the leading edge. I've always thought that the UK and Europe in general did a very good job of taking the forefront on some of the adoption, but certainly the size of the US, it'd be hard to ignore it. Some of the developing countries in the last 10 years, like China, India, Brazil, Russia, I think their adoption will increase, but I think it's going to have to be more cost effective consistently to be able to do that.
I think in 5 years, at least 80% of the commercial lighting market, if not close to 100%, will definitely be LED.
In 5 years' time, I think we're going to be a majority of LED luminaires. I think there's almost 1 trillion light sockets around the world, and all of those are opportunities to be replaced by LED.
I would think within 5 years, you'll see LEDs be over 70% of the light sources today. I think there's just too much investment being made in the source. it'll come down in price and therefore increase the adoption rate. And I think at the same time, the quality will continue to improve in terms of color consistency from fixture to fixture.
LED's impact is the greatest over the next 5 years in the area of commercial and industrial applications. That will focus on the energy reductions and the benefits that we'll have on large facilities using a large amount of lighting, reducing their base by 2x or 3x over literally the next couple of years. The consumer industry for lighting will be slower to be adopted. The price of the products and the inability to look at life cycle costs, total cost of ownership and payback period, that's not as high with the consumer. They worry more about what is the cost today to replace a burned out lamp.
In 5 years, I think you'll see more mass adoption of what we have. There's been a lot of great innovation in terms of the core technology, which is why you're now seeing LED at a price point that's competitive and also at a maturity level. So I think it is really now about execution and getting that out into the market for consumers to use. So having that, had that, we now have all the right pieces. You're going to see a build out of the infrastructure. You're going to see smarter controls available to consumers and users. And then after that, you'll see what you saw with the smartphones. You'll see applications develop. I don't know that we're going to see Angry Birds against lighting controls, but who knows? The sky's the limit.